told you guys that I only have like 15 minutes for this, right?
I'd Like a Refund, a podcast for those movies that left us wanting more. This is the tagline that started it all for Ryan, Joel, and Cameron. For 2 years, these guys have brought you countless episodes of exhilarating content. But, as Groucho Marx famously said, all good things must come to an end. I'd Like a Refund is going through some changes as they enter its third year. As they prepare for this metamorphosis, our film crew was able to go behind the scenes and get the fellas' thoughts about the show's past, present, and future.
So take us back to the moment of the show's conception, the original moment. What were your genuine feelings towards the idea?
Yeah. So we were at Kings Row, and Ryan came up with this. He said to us, and he pulled us all aside, and
Here I am sitting there with a whiskey sour and some of the best wings I've ever had in my life. And Ryan says, hey guys, I have an idea. And he starts talking work with us.
I come up with a lot of ideas, and I don't really share all of them because sometimes I think maybe they're too good. I don't want everybody to know what I got going on in here. There's a lot going on in here. But that one just felt like the time was right,
But I mean, the idea wasn't bad. It was just, I think it was poor timing on his part as to when to bring it up. But I mean, so be it.
like most of Ryan's ideas, that is just okay. But when I started to put my own spin on it, that's when it really became something that I thought could be great. And I think that what we're seeing now is really where my initial idea was. And so the fact that this is where we're at now, it just makes sense to me.
I had this idea with them in mind. We felt like a good trio to push this show forward and really make something happen. I always tell people that there's a lot of people that just talk about the things that they're going to do, and now I can say that I am a person that actually does those things, and it makes me feel pretty good. And I'm happy that I was able to take my two friends along for the ride that I'm taking us on.
If there's anything these three friends have learned in these 2 years working on the show, it's that their success has only been possible due to their fantastic chemistry.
Yeah, well, Joel, he brings some of the humor. I would say that Joel's kind of like the layup man. I'm the slam dunk man. Ryan, he doesn't bring sleeves.
Everyone always talks about Walt and Roy, right? Walt was the crazy ideas guy, and Roy was there to kind of keep him in check, okay? You had Michael Eisner and Frank Wells. Very similar situation. Eisner, very creative, outgoing, right? And Wells kind of reeled that in a little bit, kept it businessy. Ryan and I are Walt and Michael. There's no one reeling anything in. Ryan and I are just going at it, constantly ideas. One idea flows into the next, into the next, into the next. Do we have the money for that? Who knows? We're going to do it. And Cameron's Bob Chapek. So, next question.
Every star athlete, star performer, they need support. That's why they have supporting actor categories, Listening to me just talk on my own, while some people would probably find that enjoyable, I just don't think I need to exasperate that much effort. I think it's easier to have a couple of people to play off of throughout the episode, and those are two pretty good guys to play off of with. So I think just having them there to make sure that things go, accordingly, I would say, is a really nice thing to have. And I'm just happy to have them along.
Ryan is the proverbial captain of this ship, first setting sail with the idea of the show. But a harsh reality started to set in for him early, as he quickly learned that being the captain of the ship doesn't necessarily mean you're the most liked amongst your crew.
I don't think lack of popularity is really something that is of concern to me. There wouldn't be a show without me. So if you like one of the other cast members on the show more than me, well, they wouldn't be on the show without me. So I guess I could take a little credit for their popularity as well then, can't I?
117 episodes have been churned out over the show's time. And while many fun films have come up, some within the show may have had differing opinions on some of the choices made.
I think the big thing with me is that I try to make sure I do everything to the best that I can, and do things that I don't want to regret. No regrets. That's kind of my thing. If I had to choose one that I did regret, it would probably be The Last Jedi with Eric. I don't know about you guys, but he can be a bit much sometimes. I also think that one kind of got into the misogynistic category, so. And I like Birds of Prey, so.
I would say that at the end of the day, every episode that we did fell under the umbrella of this fantastic thing that was created, and I wouldn't change anything that we've done. I think the show, as it was great, and I don't think there was anything that I would take away from that. We had some episodes where maybe they didn't perform as well as we would like, but that's not on us. We're only 3 people that can listen to the episode, and we have to listen to it twice because we record it and then we listen to it after it comes out. And if you're the person that edits it, so Joel or myself, and for a couple weeks there, Cameron, if you have to edit it, you got to listen to it a third time. I enjoy hearing myself talk a lot, but I can only do it so many times. I wouldn't change anything though. I think the show was a success.
Movie 43, man, that was rough. It was less about the content and more about what it did to our friendship. Watching Cameron and Ryan kind of really go at it a lot. I'm not someone who gets angry or very passionate about my opinions. I'm very open to other people's opinions and ideas. But Ryan and Cameron, man, they were going at it. It honestly scared me for a little bit. I thought it could have been the end of the show. Cameron was like, I'm tired of doing these special episodes. I want to get back to talking about movies. And then he's over here. I don't know if you guys talked to him already, but he's like, well, it was my idea to have a new format for the show, that we have to watch bad movies anymore. So, I don't know if you've talked to him yet or not, but he was the one over here. He's like, well, can we get back to talking about movies instead of these doing dinky special episodes? So, movie 43, I mean, what was that, 18 episodes or something like that? I could do without that, so.
As time passed, guests were brought onto the show to bring on a new perspective. While their presence was always welcome, their opinions could tend to draw ire.
One of the reasons we started this show was for us 3 friends to get to hang out, but we're not the only friends we have. I'm not sure about Cameron, but we're not the only friends that we have. So being able to bring other people that it's I would be talking to this person about this anyway. Come on air, talk with these other guys, getting to introduce some of my friends to my co-hosts and vice versa, getting to meet people through my co-hosts as well. It was just such a blessing and something that was something I knew going into the show would happen, but not something I expected to be such a joy for me. And when it comes to, if I had any favorites, such a cliche answer, but I can't pick. Too many great friends that came onto the show. It was really special that they took the time out of their day to do that, because our episodes sometimes go upwards of 2.5 hours, unfortunately. And there were guests for some of those episodes, and the fact that these people would take nearly 3 hours out of their day, if you consider, pre-recording and post-recording and stuff like that, it's just incredible that they'd even do that. So I'm really thankful for everyone, all the guests.
Yeah, guests are kind of important. I think they add variety, and when it's like Ryan, Joel talking all the time, you need a little bit of variety. I mean, obviously, if it was just me, variety is not needed because I'm the best. But it was necessary. We did have some good guests, mainly the one that I chose. They were pretty great. All the other ones, they did their thing.
Yeah, I think over time the guests really they really brought a lot to the table, and they made things so much more fun for us because it gave us another support player for myself and my friends to build off of, and yeah, in terms of like one or two that really stood out, I think everybody was pretty good. I'm not here to disparage anyone. And to be perfectly honest, I think that's kind of a leading question a little bit that you're giving me there. Feels like you're trying to trap me a little bit and maybe say something negative about one of our guests and one of our fans and our friends. And that's just not who I am. Like I'm very honest, I'm very blunt, but I'm not gonna put somebody down just for you to get a hot take answer out of me. That's just not how things are gonna go here.
When Joel was brought on board, he brought a positivity to the show as a man who truly sees the joy in most things. Though, with the show's format, many questioned if that mentality was the right fit.
It's funny. A lot of people say, Joel, you like everything. You like everything. Such a lack of taste. Okay? And I'm going to counter that. I actually think I have too much taste. Okay? I have so much taste that everything is good. As you can see, I've put on a few pounds, okay? I'm trying to work out. I'm doing what I can. I can't help it that food's good. Ryan's over here having salads every damn day, little boring meals all the time. Meanwhile, I'm like, hey, let's go to In-N-Out. Hey, let's go to NBC Sports Grill. You wanna go to Margaritaville and just tackle some volcano nachos? Every now and then I can yank him out to go do that. But I mean, I'm sorry that things taste good, okay? What can I say? I have too much taste, and now I'm realizing we were talking about my taste in movies. I'm sorry I got a little bit off track there. I mean, yeah, I have too much taste. Everything's good. I'm here to enjoy the movies, man. And every now and then, I'm gonna ask for a full refund because they were pretty dang bad. But as long as I got something out of it, had a good time, why not enjoy it?
While movies were always the crux of the show, every once in a while the boys would spark an idea that they just felt had to be expressed.
The special episodes are they're tough. Like every single one of those was a brand new idea that came up, and I can't take credit for all of them. Some of our best ideas came from my co-hosts. Like I know Joel really pushed for Pitchapalooza. That was a big one for him.
For lack of a better term, just a good analogy I think is if we think in terms of food, okay? People that go on diets and whatnot, right? They're salads or chicken all week long, some vegetables, kind of bland meals. And there's benefits for that, and they appreciate that for why they're eating that, right? But you gotta have your cheat day. You gotta have that little day where you can kind of slip out of the norms and have a little more fun with it. And I think of our special episodes as sort of our cheat days.
Cameron really wanted to bring television to the show, and we really appreciated that because it is an element of the entertainment industry that we do tend to talk about and focus on in our daily lives.
Well, you see, the big thing is that I like good movies. I don't like bad movies. And when we're watching bad movies, I don't like that because I like good movies. So by watching all these bad movies, I felt myself getting dumber. And I don't like being dumber. I like being smarter. And so I decided I don't want to be dumb anymore. I like these special episodes where I don't be dumb, and because I want to be smart now.
When we first did a special episode, it was hard to really just jump in head first on that one, if I'm being perfectly honest. I like the idea that originated. I think it's a great idea. And I'm not just saying that because it's my idea. When I pitched it to the guys, they loved it too. We had no backlash. They only had a couple questions, so we moved forward with it. So to kind of feel like that those ideas weren't really all we were going to do, when we were going to start branching out a little bit, was a tough pill to swallow at times. It was tough.
So we have a good time with the movie episodes, but they do sometimes feel a little more like work. So getting the chance to have those, quote unquote, cheat days and just have a little bit more fun with whatever it is that we're doing, whether it's a Pitchapalooza, the refundees, or, a drafting episode, it really allows us to kind of relax, take some time off. There's no prep work that really needs to go into too many of those special episodes. Just a fun time.
But eventually I started to get my hands on it a little bit more and be able to come up with my own ideas for it. Coming up with ideas is tough. It's not easy, and I kind of did the heavy lifting with bringing the show to realization. So to ask me to create more was just, it was hard. Like, you see why a lot of like creative executives and things like that, they just get burned out from time to time. And I was worried that having to come up with more stuff for special episodes was going to do that. But no, I think it worked out okay in the long run. I think we came up with some good stuff. We had some ideas that never made it to, never made it to shooting because we couldn't all agree on what it was going to be. But overall, we created some good things. I liked the bracket episodes. I thought that was a really fun, my idea. I like the draft style episodes. I know we did that Netflix draft because we weren't able to see movies in the theater when we did that, I believe. I think like the theaters were still closed at that time. Again, my idea. Yeah, so when I really got, the brain cells cooking on that one, it really elevated that special episode format.
A man who's never been shy to voice his opinions, Cameron brings an important element to the show. If he doesn't like something, he makes sure you know that. And that mentality can rub people the wrong way.
Yeah, I went to UC San Diego.
What started as a few new ideas sprinkled amongst their main shows has now led to this massive shuffling of the podcast deck for I'd Like a Refund, a change that wasn't always easy to move to.
This change, I don't know if it's going to work. You want to ask me like why we're making this change? I'll tell you why. It's almost like a mutiny. I wasn't really ready for this change. I thought the show that we were doing was great. I don't think anything needed to change at all. But like I said earlier, this is a democracy. It's the right way to operate things for the show. And I listened to my co-hosts and, I voiced my opinions and I told them that I think what we were doing was fine. I don't see the reason for changing and things like that. And they would throw things at me like, statistics and word of mouth and things like that, what people were saying about the show and why maybe it was the right time to make the transition. I don't see it that way. I think this is a fantastic show. And I don't think it needed to change. But, I've always heard this thing from like fellow creatives that I admire, when we talk about things, when I go to work for all the people in the industry that I get to see and work with every day. They tell me things like, your first idea is going to be your worst idea. And every idea you come up with after that is going to just get better and better and better. Well, my first idea was pretty damn good. So if this next one is going to be even better, then, well, I guess we're just right on track then, aren't we?
Many question the decision to move away from film being the main topic of discussion on the show, but the hosts want their fans to know that film will always be the heart of the podcast.
As long as I am on this podcast, we'll never not talk about film. Okay? So just want to, my idea, my thing, film is never going away. Okay? Jesus Christ.
No, not at all. If you actually had listened to an earlier question you asked me and the answer I gave you, I don't see any reason why movies would fall out at all. We are going to talk about movies all the time. It's in our blood. It's our nature to talk about movies. Unfortunately, we maybe talk about them even too much. We wake up on a daily basis, and the three of us, and four of us, if you include a friend of the show, Eric, we're constantly talking about movies, sharing trailers, sharing thoughts about, Best Picture nominees and Top Gun winning Best Picture this year at the Academy Awards. So we're constantly talking about movies. There's no way that that's not going to translate from our personal life into any venture that we can do, or any venture that we move on to.
Wasn't that just an interesting question, isn't it? The original idea, movies. Why movies? I knew it was something that we all liked. This new format, who the hell knows where things are going to go? I certainly don't know. This wasn't my idea to do this anyway. I don't know what's going to happen with the new show. Am I worried about the new show? No, of course I'm not worried because it's something that I'm going to be working on. So it's going to be great. I have no concerns about that. But it feels like this was just kind of heaped on me as the head creative for the show to fully transition to a new thing. I enjoyed doing the movies. The movies were great. It was something we knew to do every single time. It's not my fault that it's so difficult for two people to find 2 hours in their goddamn week to watch a movie. I don't see that as a difficulty. I make time all the time, and my schedule is insane. I can't keep track of my days. I don't even know what day is today, even. What day is this?
Wednesday, December 14th.
You could have told me it was Saturday. You say December? No, that makes sense. Okay, now that makes sense. And I was wondering why you had a tree on the set. But yeah, movies better not go away because it's what we all like. You know, and I'm sorry if it was too difficult for some people to keep up with the legwork that goes into creating something. But if we got to dumb it down to make it a little easier for everyone to follow along, and I'm not talking about the fans. The fans were happy with the way the format was before. They were happy to follow along. I'm not talking about the fans. If we had to dumb it down to make it a little easier for everybody, you know, because they can't keep up, then that's fine. Instead of running a West Coast offense, we'll just run a normal offense. I don't know. I don't watch football.
So as the sun sets in the first era of I'd Like a Refund, the guys hope the show's future will shine even brighter.
But I think more than anything else, we're just really looking forward to being able to kind of broaden what the show is. We love talking about movies. That's always going to be something that we talk about on the show. Pop culture as a whole is going to be a huge part of the show. But we want to be able to talk about things like sports and books maybe, and personal life experiences, vacations, like travel, like really just about anything without feeling like we're not honoring what the show is. So that was a really big part of it. And at least for me, probably the most important part.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I was talking about pretty much my idea. That's like the big reason why I think it's a necessary transition. We did Ryan's thing. I don't think Joel had a thing. Now it's time for my thing. But I think the real thing is that Joel and Ryan grew into my idea, so it's good for them to accept it and grow into it. Yeah.
I came across a little hot in that last part, and I'd like to apologize to everybody that is watching this. I know that you all believe in me and what we're doing here at I'd Like a Refund podcast. If you didn't, you wouldn't still be here. So thank you for believing in what we're doing here. In terms of something that I might be excited about, there's so many different ways that this could go, and eventually we're going to get it figured out. I think we're going to get figured out. When we do, and there might be a little grace period where we got to really get things rolling and find our stride, and maybe there's going to be new roles that everybody has to play in this new show. There's no way to really know until we start doing it. So it's going to be like a trial by fire. So I'm kind of excited for the challenge, I guess I would say. Launching something originally is a challenge in itself. Changing it on the fly and hoping it succeeds as much as your previous one, well, that's where the real tough part comes in then.